In business, we're always told the same thing. Grow. Bigger is better. More is more. But what if that's all a trap? I stumbled upon this amazing blog post on SteveBizBlog that makes this wild connection. I'm talking from the agricultural revolution thousands of years ago, right to the challenges entrepreneurs face today. It totally flips the script on how we think about growth and how chasing it might actually be robbing us of the one thing we wanted in the first place, our freedom. And this is the quote from the post that it just stops you in your tracks, right? The author is reading about how our ancient ancestors gave up a free, nomadic life for the supposed stability of farming, and it clicks for him. Entrepreneurs do the exact same thing. We trade our agility and our freedom for what we think is security. And as we're about to see, that trade is way more costly than it looks on the surface. So you have to wonder, if this is a trap that's literally thousands of years old, why do so many of us, smart, ambitious founders, walk right into it today? Well, to figure that out, we've got to go back, way back. Okay, let's look at what the blog post calls humanity's first big upgrade, that huge shift from hunting and gathering to farming. I mean, on the surface, it seems like a total no-brainer, doesn't it? A steady food supply? Sounds great. But it turns out there were some serious hidden costs. And this is where it gets really fascinating, because the trade-off wasn't nearly as good as it sounded. Yeah, the first farmers got a more predictable food source, but what did they give up? They worked way harder, their diet actually got worse, and diseases spread like wildfire in those settled communities. But the real kicker, the most critical part, is right there at the bottom. They became dependent. They lost the ability to just pack up and move when things went bad. They were literally tied to the land. The trap had sprung. So, this ancient trade-off gives us this perfect analogy for everything we're talking about today, the two mindsets of the hunter and the farmer. This slide just lays it out so clearly. On one side, you've got the hunter. Think of a solopreneur, a freelancer. They're all about being mobile, adaptable. Freedom is their ultimate goal. Then, on the other side, you have the farmer. This is more like an employee in a big company. They want structure, specialization, predictability. The hunter is out there chasing new opportunities, while the farmer is focused on protecting the fields they already have. So, how does this ancient dynamic play out for, a founder in today's world? Well, it all starts with that same tempting promise, stability. And this right here, this just drives the whole point home. We're not literally out there planting wheat, but man, we are putting down roots. We build these complex systems, we hire teams, we take on all this overhead, all in the name of creating something stable. But before we know it, we've just become caretakers, tied to the very machine we built. And the author shows exactly how this slippery slope works. It's a 4-step process. It starts with a good intention. You chase growth because you want stability. Then, you have to build systems to manage all that growth. Pretty soon, you're not the boss anymore. You're just serving the system. The business is running you. And that freedom you had back in the hunter days, poof, it's gone. And this gets to the heart of a huge misunderstanding we entrepreneurs often have. We think that if we can just control everything, we'll be secure. But the blog post argues that true freedom and real security comes from the complete opposite, adaptability. It's about being able to move, to pivot, when the world inevitably changes. And what makes this so powerful is that it's not just some abstract theory for the author. Nope, he's a seasoned entrepreneur who lived through this exact journey himself. I mean, look at this. He started out as that classic hunter, full of energy, building something new and exciting. Then he sold his business and stayed on, basically becoming a farmer inside a giant corporation. Sure, he had all the stability in the world, big paycheck, benefits, but he'd lost his autonomy. And that's when he had his big epiphany. He saw exactly what he'd traded away. So when he got the chance, he did something almost nobody does. He bought his business back. He chose freedom. He puts it so perfectly right here. He saw the trap for what it was, and he made a conscious choice to stop tending the fields and start hunting again. Okay, so we get the trap, we see the danger. The big question is, how do we avoid it? Well, the post gives some fantastic, really practical advice for staying in that hunter mindset, even when the whole world is telling you to settle down and farm. First up, stay light. I love this idea that every fixed cost, your office lease, your equipment, even long-term contracts, is like a root pinning you to the ground. The leaner you are, the lighter you are, and the faster you can move when you spot a new opportunity or need to dodge a threat.
Number 2, diversify. A farmer who only grows one crop is totally vulnerable. One bad season, one pest, and they're wiped out. But a hunter, they eat whatever they can find. For us in business, that means not putting all your eggs in one basket. Having multiple clients, different products, or several revenue streams, that's what builds real resilience.
Third, and oh man, this one is so important, never, ever stop learning. For a hunter, being curious isn't a hobby, it's a survival skill. You have to know the terrain, understand your prey. The moment you think you know it all and you just need to maintain what you've got, that's the moment you've become a farmer. All right, number 4 is a big mindset shift. Work for freedom, not for scale. We're conditioned to just chase growth for growth's sake. But what if the goal isn't just more? The author's point is to actually sit down and define what enough looks like for you. Then you can build a business that serves that goal instead of just feeding a machine of endless scale. And finally, you have to completely change how you see uncertainty. A farmer looks at the unknown and sees a threat, a drought, a storm, something that could ruin the harvest. A hunter looks at that same unknown and sees territory filled with opportunity. It's a fundamental shift in perspective. So when you put all of this together, it leads to one huge, game-changing conclusion. If we really want to prioritize freedom, we have to start measuring success in a totally different way. And this slide just nails it. We're all taught to obsess over the farming metrics on the left: revenue, headcount, market share. But a hunter is playing a different game. They're asking different questions. Do I have the freedom to choose what I work on today? Can I pivot my whole business tomorrow if I need to? Do I still have time to be curious? Those are the hunter's metrics. And that's really the bottom line. After going on this whole journey, the conclusion is simple, but it is so profound. The truest measure of your success as an entrepreneur isn't the size of your company. It's the amount of freedom you have. And that is the powerful question the author leaves us with. It's the perfect filter for every single business decision you make from now on. When you're thinking about your next move, ask yourself this: are you creating more freedom for yourself, or are you just planting more fields that you'll be forced to tend? The hunter inside you already knows the answer.